Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with Rich Technology Group, and I'm also joined by my wonderful co-host, Sunita Alister. Sunita, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm just burning, but I'm doing great. I'm
What
burning.
did you what did you tell me the temperature was over there today? Tell the viewers what's going on with this heat wave. What's going on and how hot did you say it is over there?
It is 44 Celsius, 42, 44 from since last 2 weeks because there's a very strange heat wave all around India and Pakistan. And it's just like, you can feel the wind, but it's burning. It's literally burning the skin and you can just literally feel that you cannot breathe. And I live a place where it's on a high altitude and the mountain range, it just starts further from my city. But cities below that level and which are, you can say they are just literally burning. There's no wind, there's nothing at all. So
For those
yes,
of
we are we are living in a wind right now.
for those of you, the viewers who are watching and wondering, what is 44 degrees Celsius? That's in
Oh
Fahrenheit.
yes.
That's approximately 110, 111 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, speaking of heat wave, today's video is you and I are gonna comment on an article from UC Today called "The Best Business Phone Systems of 2022." I'm gonna go down the list. We're gonna talk about who's hot and who's not on this list. You and I are
Okay.
gonna comment on this a bit. For those of you who are wondering, Sunita and I have done this before in a previous video with, I think it was US News's top 10 or top 15 VoIP service providers. And her and I commented on it, but this is a UC Today article. This one isn't really a top whatever. They're just saying what they claim to be the best business phone systems of 2022. They don't really have a thing in this article that says, oh, this one's number one, or this one's number two, or this one's number six. So Sunita and I are just going to go down this list and we're going to comment on what we think about these ones on the list, what our experience has been with them working with our customers, and what we think about them even being on this list of the best business phone systems for 2022. So you ready to dig into this, Sunita?
Yes, because it matches my weather.
Okay, well, let's see who's hot and who's not. So, first on their list for the best business phone systems for 2022 from UC Today is Nextiva. I'm going to weigh in first, and then I'm going to let you weigh in. I don't have
Okay.
any problem with Nextiva being on this list. While I will go as far as saying I don't think that they're the most feature-rich service provider out there, and I don't think they have the best mobile app either, because I do get a lot of customers that say that they feel like the mobile app is lacking in some ways, but it does work for a lot of our customers. The one thing where Nextiva shines is their customer service. They have really good customer service, really good response time, pre and post sales. And so I think that alone is enough to get Nextiva on this Best Business Phone Systems 2022 list from UC Today. What's your thoughts on Nextiva being on this list, or your experience with them when working with the clients you consult with?
Well, I love Nextiva. I love working with them. But yes, as far as the clients are concerned, when people come to me and they tell me about they have the Nextiva app and they are not happy with it, that really is a concern because sometimes I do not understand that the provider which is best in the customer service and they are just very awesome while working with us. We do not have any complaints about this part. But yes, their application, they do have some lackings. And I think that apart from this, definitely they deserve to be in this list. They are definitely are a good provider.
Yeah, yeah. Another thing I wanted to note, which is in the description that UC Today put here in their article, and don't worry, you guys, I'm gonna have the UC Today direct link for this article in under the video. So if you want to go see the original site where we're seeing this, feel free, and definitely go check it out. Support UC Today. We actually know those guys who handle this website. The one thing that I like that they have in here is they say one of the reasons they put them on this list is because they have a CRM that can be bundled into the system. And that is something super unique that no other provider that I know of has. While all the other providers can integrate with other CRMs like Salesforce.com, Zendesk, Soho CRM, none of them that I know of have their own CRM.
Well, as far as Cisco itself is concerned, definitely I've heard about them on some of the Cisco phones. So yes, they deserve to be in this place. And this is a very huge news and it's a big thing. And I'm looking forward to it. That
Yeah,
when can I get a chance to work on this platform? Because definitely, as you said, that it is going to be a variety in the market, like apart from the other providers. And as they are just already working and as they can just integrate with the other phones, it is going to be a very nice and exciting thing.
yeah. I'm excited about it because the people that I've recently, one of your leads, we can't mention any names on here, but one of your leads that we're working with, I recently put him in touch with Cisco. And when I mentioned it, and I said, I really think that Cisco WebEx would be a good solution for you. Are you open to that? And his exact words was, "Are you kidding?" He was like, "I've been in IT and network engineering for over 30 years," he said, and Cisco was one of the first phone systems that I worked with when I got into call centers. And he told me, he said, "I'm sure it's changed quite a bit since then," but he was like, "I absolutely trust the brand. And I think the security is a big plus for us because we need something that's really secure that can't be hacked or can't be compromised." So he didn't even question it. So I think that's a good one that deserves to be on this list because they have the brand recognition and they have a long standing history as being great hardware with great security. Moving on. I'm going to let you start off with this one this time before I say anything. The next one that's on this list is Dialpad. Go.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on why they're on this list, and do you think they deserve to be on this list?
They're awesome. I mean, I am going to be honest because when I had the trainings with them and whenever I've joined their trainings after that, I am always just left so impressed by what they can offer. And even some of my clients, they just come to me and they just like, I have done my research and I ask them that which one you find the most attractive or something which can just work for you well and which just caught your attention, and they're just like Dialpad, and I'm just like, and we can just talk about it, like I can talk about it like for an hour or half an hour. So yes. Then I explain everything to them and they're just like, it is impressive. But the reason why, because they are not just different, they are offering something which wasn't in the craziest thoughts of all of us, like in
With
the
the AI,
back in,
yeah,
exactly, back in those years when we used to just use those landline phones and the mobile phones came in and they just transformed into the screens and the touch screens. So it's just like having something like on the VoIP side with an AI is awesome.
yeah.
One
Their
word.
their machine learning features and their AI is just amazing. I mean, I was just working with somebody yesterday who looked at two different demos in the same day. I'm not going to mention who the second demo was, but one of them was Dialpad, of course. And I messaged them and I said, I just thought I would just reach out and just ask you where you guys' heads are because they had their leadership team watch both demos. They had like 3 or 4 people on the call. And I said, I want to know before we even get to pricing, what did you think between Dialpad and the other demo? And they told me point blank, they said, unfortunately, we think we're going to go with the other provider potentially instead of Dialpad because of the integrations. They said, but let me tell you, while it's a bit over the top for what we need, the AI, the artificial intelligence, and some of the stuff that Dialpad could do, they were like, our team was completely blown away. But we just can't justify that type of price and that type of technological advancements because they don't need it. But for people that do need it, it's a no-brainer. I mean, anytime
Yeah.
I work with somebody that needs that kind of stuff or they find that kind of stuff beneficial and they see it, they're pretty much like, Prince, I don't need to see any more demos. Just get the pricing with the quote, get with Dialpad and get the pricing as reasonable as you can, and we'll see if we can get management to sign it. So, any other thoughts before we move on in regards to Dialpad being on this list?
Well, they deserve to be in this list.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, next on the list is Ooma. I don't think you've worked with them much, have you? Have you worked with them here and there or enough to really speak on experience? Because if not, I can take the lead on this one.
You'll have to take a lead on this because I have worked with them, but not much to share any experience.
So I think Uma deserves to be on the list for a couple of reasons. Number one, price. They do really good on price. They're very competitive. Where I have found that for VoIP service providers of like caliber, Vonage tends to be one of the most competitive out there or can get the most competitive. Uma can give them a run for their money. Uma is very competitive on price. So that's one thing that they've got going for them. The other thing that's a big thing with Uma that they boast about a lot is what they call their fast, rapid turn up speed, which means how fast they can get an account with upwards of 25 to 50 employees from zero, no phone system working to the phone system working within about 24 hours. They boast that they can get a phone system up and running for businesses up to 50 users, 50 employees within about 24 hours. Sometimes less, have it up and running, everything. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean the number porting, but they can have the system configured users have their profiles and everything and up and running and active and can use it while waiting for numbers to port in and things like that. So that's a big plus there. The other thing that's big is they are pushing a big initiative to try to get people off of analog because, as you know, this year, analog service is going bye-bye in August of 2022, the deadline from the FCC.
Mhm.
So they're really pushing that really hard as well. Any comments on Ooma before I mention one last point, which is a con for me for Ooma before we move on?
It is impressive, everything you have just told about Uma. And as far as the service and I work with them, it's always been a pleasure. I mean, I've never found anything which can be a deal breaker, you can
Yeah,
say.
same here, same here. One other thing that I wanted to mention about Uma that well, actually I found another pro in this article and I did not know this. It says unlimited calling to USA, Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. Now, Vonage is one of the only other providers that I know of currently that offers free calls to Mexico as well as USA and Canada, but the Puerto Rico one is a really big one because I've actually had many customers that have contacted me that are American citizens that live originally from, even though Puerto Rico is American territory, I've talked to many clients that were originally born in the United States on United States soil, but they've moved to Puerto Rico for tax reasons or investment reasons or just because they want to be near the beaches and to have the nicer weather than what we're used to in the United States. And a lot of them don't like the fact that they can't call locally. So for those of you who are watching that are Puerto Rico, Ooma might be a really big one because I don't know of any other providers currently that offer free calls to Puerto Rico. Typically only US and Canada and Mexico, like in Vonage's case. So that's something that I learned. The only con that I have for Ooma, which is a new one, is that Ooma recently announced Ooma used to support Poly mainly, was their forerunner for the IP phones and even their free phone. And then it became Yealink when Poly started experiencing the shortages. But I just found out literally last week that Ooma now mainly supports Grandstream. And I don't like that. I don't have anything against Grandstream. I got a bunch of Grandstreams sitting over here in the cube organizer and a bunch in the closet over here. But I find that most providers either don't support Grandstream, and so I don't see a lot of people buying it because of fear of they get a bunch of Grandstreams and then they need to move providers and then their phones become useless. I don't know. I'm more of a Poly and Yealink snob. So I don't know. I just think it's odd that Ooma just recently announced that their forerunner now is Grandstream. I think it's weird. Moving on. The next one, and there's only three left on this list. The next one, and we're going to do this one really quick, and I definitely want you to weigh in on this one. Google Voice. I'm sorry. I'm just not even sure why they're on this list. First of all, most people that I know that have Google Voice or come to me with Google Voice, they're not getting it and paying for it. They're using the free Google Voice. So I just feel like if this is under the pretense of something being free, it shouldn't be on this list because number one, you get what you pay for. Number two, all these other service providers, they're not free. You have to pay for them. I don't ever have anybody that contacts me looking for Google Voice. It's only people that are contacting and usually saying, Google Voice isn't bad. That's not what I'm knocking. But with free, you get what you pay for. And most people that contact me have Google Voice. And the reason they're switching is because Google Voice, at least in the free form, I can't speak on the paid for form. It's not really a real phone system. It's like a grasshopper. It's like an in-between like forwarding service type of fix thing for people that need a phone system but can't really afford or don't want to pay for a real phone system with real features. So it's like that middle ground territory. So I don't know that I totally agree with them being on the list. I love Google. I mean, we're a Google shop here at RTG. You know this, Sunita. We use Gmail. We use Google Meet. We use everything Google internally for our internal operations. But Google Voice, nah. It's, as Simon and American Idol would say, it's a no for me. What are your thoughts on Google Voice being on this list? Or what's your experience been with customers you've worked with that have got it?
First, I will talk about my experience. As you said that Google, definitely there's nothing wrong and we use it in the office and I use it personally. I have all my logins and everything, even the TVs and everything. I use it for the, what you can say, for the storage and for the
Yeah,
data keeping and for the emails, for YouTube, anything. I mean, everything is just in my house is just attached to one account, which
yeah,
I have from since like ages, and it's Google account. But again, if you're talking about Google Voice, you're just perfectly on point when you said that among all the providers who are charging the people for something which they are going to get, like based upon the billing or the payment they are paying for it.
Yeah,
So something for which they are not paying, that can be a temporary solution. That can be
yeah,
for people like you and I, if we want to use something for personal reasons, like to do some family calls, to make it just real quick. But for the professionals, I do not consider it as a phone system,
yeah,
to be very honest, because no offense to anything or to anyone, but it's just like, to be very honest, if something is just for a use, like a temporary use, even sometimes people just talk about it like I'm using Google Voice, and I'm just like, it's not a phone system you're using, you're just on a temporary solution. But if you want to be on a professional platform, you cannot just use some landline and just compare it to the T-Mobile or AT&T line, or the experience you can have with the cell phone line. I mean,
yeah,
you cannot merge everything. Everything has their own experiences, has they, what you can say, they can offer you something very different. So each
yeah,
platform, they have their own essence, they have their own features, they can offer you different kind of services. But among this list, I mean, among Dialpad and Nextiva and whatever we are talking, even Cisco, I don't think Google Voice should be in this place. I mean, they're not a phone system.
yeah. Every time somebody calls me with it and they're looking to switch, it's almost the same song. They're always saying it was great while it lasted, it was free, I didn't have to pay anything for it, but I'm finding that it doesn't do a lot of things that my business needs to do. And they literally say I need to get a real phone system that has real routing features and real capabilities. So that's enough bashing Google for now, and let's move on to the next one. The next one on the list is Zoom Phone. Zoom Phone needs no introduction. I'll be quick and short and sweet on this one. Their pricing is relatively competitive. I wouldn't say it's as competitive as, say, a Vonage or an Ooma, but it can be if you've got a higher number of users, say 10 to 20 users or more. If you get Zoom Phone or like Zoom United that has the video meetings built into it, it's great. I mean, Zoom has some of the best integrated video on the planet. Everybody knows that. But in fairness, Zoom is only at the time of this video, Zoom Phone is only at the time of this video, I think about 2.5 years old. It's approaching its third year in existence. And so it's kind of basic. Like its mobile app is super basic. Its desktop app is super basic compared to its competitors. Can it get the job done? Sure. But typically when I have somebody look at a demo of Zoom Phone and then something else like a Ring Central or something else like a Vonage or like a Dialpad, they come away from the Zoom Phone demo feeling like it's very basic. For somebody who needs basic stuff, I think it works great, no problem. But that's my honest opinion there in that regard. What do you think about Zoom Phone being on this list?
You have said it all. They are a basic phone. I mean, they can do that job. But again, as I've said, and I'm just talking about being everybody different from each other, they are just different. But yes, in the market, everything is upgrading and they're just changing with time, as Cisco is doing. So Zoom is just still where it was in the previous years.
And I think Zoom Phone will actually be really. I'm not saying it's not amazing. It's actually an excellent platform. I've got lots of customers using it. It just needs time. It needs time to mature. Like, so, I mean, a lot of these providers we've been talking about, like for example, Dialpad, they've been in business for I think close to 20 years. I want to say 18 years. It might be more. It might be closer to 21, 22 years. So Zoom has, I think, more financial backing than all of them, but the one that we've covered on this list so far, the only thing that they don't have that all of these others have on here is time. They don't have time as a phone system in the market to really turn into something truly incredible. So I
You're
think
right.
with time, it will happen. Moving to the last one on this list before you and I wrap this video up, and I was kind of shocked this one was on this list. 8x8 business phone. I'm actually kind of shocked that 8x8 is on this list. Now, I'm no stranger to 8x8. I don't think you've worked with them much. You probably had customers that say they've got it and they're looking to move. I'm just going to keep it real. Most of the people that contact me and ever say anything about 8x8, it's only to cancel it. I mean, and I always hear them saying they're being completely overcharged, or I hear them saying that the customer service is non existent, or I hear them saying that they just aren't getting the features that they need. Now, I know that 8x8 has made some major advances. For example, when I was at Channel Partners, 8x8 was like the biggest sponsor at the event. I will say their marketing, especially when I was at Channel Partners, was incredible. I mean, they practically bought the whole event and paid for the whole event. Their logo was everywhere. They had giant digital screens that are bigger than you and me, bigger than this entire room, that were promoting 8x8 and 8x8's new contact center solution. So I think 8x8 is dumping a lot of money into their solution and hopefully their customer service to advance. But my personal experience with 8x8, just going to say it, I haven't signed up a single customer with 8x8 in over 2 years. And I mean, you work here, so you know how many leads we get a day. I mean, what are we getting? Like sometimes 6 to 10 requests in a day of people that are looking for a new phone system. And no one is ever asking me for 8x8. No one is ever saying, Prince, what's your opinion about 8x8? No one's ever saying, Prince, how come you don't talk about 8x8 on the channel? They're never asking for it, and that makes me wonder what's up. It's only ever people that are looking to cancel or looking to find another solution. So I'm a little shocked that 8x8 is on this list. I think that 8x8 may cater more to contact center. And as you know, Sunita, we work with contact centers here and there, but not always. The majority, what would you say, out of every 10 lead we get, maybe one, if that, 0.5, 1 or 0.5 is a contact center, and the rest is regular SMB. It's regular small business that need a phone system. So that may be why we don't hear about them a lot, but that's enough of me laying into 8x8. What are your thoughts about 8x8 being the last one on this list?
I have never worked with them, and that's true that like every month I get so many leads, so many people that come to me, and they are just not happy with it, with the service and with whatever is happening to the application. And I just wonder why they are on this list, because we just work or talk about based upon the information which is collected over the time and with the experience. And the experience, if we talk about my experience dealing with people who just are using or want to switch from 8x8, is not good, and the impression is not good, like for me, because I think that there can be some lackings. That's perfectly fine. As you said, that Zoom, definitely they need time. They are perfect with whatever they are doing. But if somebody is lacking everything like 8x8, so I am not sure why they are on this list, because I personally have nothing to say bad about it. But yes, it's just like the experience which is talking. People are not happy. They need to be very concerned about that. Their customers, they are leaving. I think if they just improve the features, they improve the application, if they can just improve the customer service, it's just going to work perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
that's what I think. That's the biggest complaint that I've heard about is the customer service and the price is high. But
Mm.
again, I think that 8x8 mostly caters to contact center. So when they do get that very small business or that business that doesn't quite fit their customer avatar by size or budget expectation, it probably results in not being a good fit. And then the customer feels like they've been oversold. But that may not
Mm.
necessarily be 8x8's fault. It just means the customer is in a solution that's not a good fit for them. So, and
Exactly. Yeah.
that's me defending 8x8 a little bit before we wrap this up. So, anyways, as always, Sunita, I want to thank you for being here and weighing in on the different providers. For those of you who are watching this video, in closing, tell us what you think about the different providers that were on this list. Tell me in the comments, me and Sunita in the comments, which one you think was the best one that's in this lineup or why, or which ones you think don't even belong on the list, or just whatever your opinion is. This one should, this one shouldn't, or which one you think has the best feature set or the best pricing or whatever. We'd love to know your opinion. For those of you who may or may not know, we actually do represent all of these providers that are on this list. So if you're interested in seeing a custom demo, getting special pricing, or hearing more about the solution for one of these providers or any of the other ones that we represent that are also on our videos on the YouTube channel, feel free to hit me and Sunita up on our website. As always, this is Prince and Sunita Alister with Rich Technology Group, your go-to folks for the best deals on business phone and internet service in the United States. We'll catch you guys again in the next video.